Hi, welcome. I'm so glad you're joining me because we're going to make scones. Now, I love scones. Not everybody does. I mean, some people think they're just blocks of dough, but to me, they're wonderful. So I enjoy making them, but I have found that they can be a little bit tricky. So you want to have a few little steps in here to ensure success. First of all, you're going to need flour. Self-rising flour is what you're going for, all right? So we want 3 cups of flour, and I just get in there and kind of work it around a little bit. That way I don't have to sift it. Okay? And then we're going to have just a pinch of salt. Just like that. And just a little bit additional baking powder because you want these to really rise. So I'm just going to put in, I don't know, like maybe 1/8 of a teaspoon of that. Now, this is where it starts to get kind of interesting because what we're going to want to do is really mix this up well, get everything incorporated there, and then we're going to add the butter. Now, this is an important step. This is 8 tablespoons of butter that have been frozen. And what you want to do is you want to be able to grate them into your mixture, just like this, okay? You don't want to use the food processor. You don't want to get them warm. You don't want to touch them. You want to leave it as cold as humanly possible. So we're just grating them right in. Very careful not to touch it with our hands. I'm going to be making a fruit scone. You can use anything you want, fruit and nuts and whatever you like. What I'm going to be using are these whole cran raisins. They're really delicious. I like things that are a little bit tart. And then on the very top of this scone, after they're baked and cooled down, then what we're going to do is have a lemon glaze on it, which will be fantastic for those of you that like things a little bit more tart. All right, whoops, we want to get all of it. Get off of there. Clean up here. It's always makes such a mess. All right, so you want to get that all incorporated, just like that. Then what you want is about a cup, again to your taste, whatever you like. I like a lot of fruit in my scones. So I did that. Now, when you get them in here before you get your liquid in, they're really easy to incorporate. They're all through this because the flour is actually separating them. If you didn't do that and you just clumped them all, they'd be like in one spot. You don't want that. And then we're going to add buttermilk. And buttermilk is wonderful. If you don't have buttermilk, you can make it. It's 1 cup of milk to 1 tablespoon of vinegar, and you've got buttermilk. You just have to let it sit for like, I don't know, 15 minutes. But I had buttermilk. So now what we're going to do is just, again, not use our hands. We're going to start with 1 cup. I believe it'll take more, but we want a wet dough is what we're going for. Okay, so it's mixing up nicely. And we're going to put in another 1/2 cup. Okay. We just want to pick up all of that loose flour down there and get that all incorporated, just like that. It's coming together really nice. This is a very wet dough. So just know that it is, and don't be worried about it because that's what's going to make it rise, be airy, fluffy, and super delicious. Now what we're going to do is we're just about there. Okay, a little bit more. You can feel how cold this dough is. I'm going to dump it out. A little bit of flour. And then dump it out. Okay, and then you're not going to roll it. You're just going to pat it. You're just going to try to pat it. Use as little as you can of your hand and just bind it just like this. Okay? If you feel it needs a little bit more liquid, you can always add that. But I think we're okay with 1.5 cups. As you continue to do this, it's all coming together. See how easy this is? This is so easy. I mean, scones are not difficult to make. It's having the proper ingredients, having your butter at its right temperature, which is freezing, and just so simple to do and so delicious. My son and his significant other are coming for dinner tonight, and even though we generally don't eat dessert after dinner because I usually make huge dinners, I'll have this and they can take them home and have them tomorrow morning, which is always a good thing. All right, I think that's just about where we want to be. It's looking good to me. All righty. Now then, we're just going to cut them. I have preheated the oven to 390 degrees. Okay? And don't worry if they're not all the same. If someone says his is bigger than mine, then just tell them to take another scone, for heaven's sakes. There. Do you see how fast this recipe came together? I think that you're able to really make good things in your kitchen and not slave over them. There are certain things I've made that were so time-consuming, and they were good, but man, they were not worth the effort. I like things that are good and relatively simple. I have a bread recipe if you guys are interested in making artesian bread. Go to that recipe. Talk about easy and delicious. Oh, that is wonderful. Okay? See, no science here. Just getting them on there. You want them all at about the same size, you know, just for the cooking. And this is going to be the same size there, but this little guy's going to be a little bit smaller. So we'll see. This little guy right here might overcook. All right, now then, pop them into the oven. And they're going to cook for 15 minutes, but at about, 8 minutes, I'm going to check the oven. I might have to rotate them depending on how they're cooking. So here they go. All right, I will be back in either 8 minutes or 15 minutes. Okay? All right, it's been 15 minutes, and I did check them halfway through, and they were fine. So I didn't even have to rotate them. So now we're 15 minutes into the cooking time, and they are perfect, absolutely perfect. I'll show you what you are looking for. You are looking for them to be kind of golden. See where it's starting to get golden on the top, like this, and then you look at the bottom, and that is absolutely perfect, every single one of them. So we'll just let these cool down a little bit, and then I will come back and I will show you how to make an absolutely outrageous glaze so that you can glaze them. Now, I think the glaze is one of the best parts, so I don't want to leave that part out. So we'll be back as soon as these cool down. Well, we are to the final stages of these phenomenal scones. They're beautiful. They're really beautiful. Took them out, cooled them down, and now we're going to make a glaze for them. So here I have 2 cups of powdered sugar. I hated working with powdered sugar simply because you have to sift it, and it was just such a pain to just stand there and sift it, until I realized I just had to put it in my Cuisinart, hit pulse a few times, and all the lumps were gone. So now I love working with powdered sugar. So I have 2 tablespoons in here, and we're going to put 4 tablespoons of lemon juice in here. Now this is fresh lemon juice. Don't buy that concentrated stuff out of a jar, for heaven's sakes. Just take a minute and just go ahead and squeeze the lemons. It's so much better. Actually, if you're really lucky, you're able to go out and pick the lemons, which we did. And these are lemons off our tree. There. Now again, depending on how thick you want it and how tart you want it, you can start tasting it and see if it meets. That's good. That's good. But I think I want it a little bit thicker than that. I want more of a glaze, so I'm just going to add a little bit more of the powdered sugar. And just do whatever you want. You know, if you want a real thin glaze on it, that would have been fine. If you like a thicker glaze, just add more. You'll be able to feel this and know what it is that's going to be good for you. So what I'm going to do is just take a scone, whoops, and just dip it in here. Just like that. Let it drip off and set it there. And this is the beauty of doing something at home the way you want to do it, because when this is dry, I'm going to dip the bottom. So we will have that beautiful glaze on the top and on the bottom. And that glaze is delicious. Now, if you'd like to, and this is very, very pretty if you do this, if you'd like to, all you need to do is just take a little bit of lemon zest and put it on the top of that. And boy, they look so pretty, and that extra little pump up, a burst of flavor that just pops is just delicious. It really is. I think you are going to like this recipe a lot, and I think you are going to enjoy the fact that you can now make the best scones, and you don't have to go buy them at a bakery, and you can have them whenever you want. A little taste of this little piece that broke off. It's excellent. Very, very, very good. I think you'll enjoy them. I think your family will enjoy them. And it's just another wonderful thing you learn to do. Thank you. Come visit me again.